Hi guys, it's Charles here with Charles Harrison Music. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking you through how chord shapes which you would have assumed were unrelated are in fact related. The important thing I'm going to keep referring to in today's video is the +1 string. And the +1 string is your B string, which is the second one up from your toes, or the second string is another way we sometimes name this string. So let's dive straight into it, and we're going to start with an E minor chord, which I'm sure you all already know, 022-000. If I take that chord shape and I move it down one string, that's a lovely chord, but it's not a minor chord anymore. So this is a minor shape on E, but as soon as I move it down a string set, it's no longer minor. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the B string, or the second string, and we're going to +1 to it. Ah, there we go. So there's our minor sound. So E minor, we move it down, and then we +1 to it, and we get the familiar A minor chord shape that we're all very, very fond of. Okay, let's do the same again. So if we take our A minor and we move it down a string, we would expect that it would stay minor. However, again, that's a chord sound that might be familiar to some of you, but it's certainly not a standard minor chord. What do? Well, we take the B string, which is the second one here, and we +1 to it. Suddenly we've got a minor chord. So this certainly doesn't give us minor chords. This suddenly you can see why those are actually all the same shape. Even though they are three different shapes, suddenly it makes sense where they come from. Now the reason we're plussing one fret to this string is because the distance between G and B is only a third, whereas the interval between every other string is a fourth. Therefore, if you take something that's tuned in fourths and move it onto the third string set, obviously 3 is 1 smaller than 4, so the shape isn't going to cut the mustard anymore. Cut the mustard. Let's take another chord. Here's E major. Now if we move that E major down a string, we would expect that that is a major shape, so it's going to give us a major chord. Well, of course, we know that that's an A minor. So what we do is we take our +1 string, which is the second string here. I'm currently playing the first fret in my A minor. I'm going to add a fret to it, and so it's going to give me a second fret. And look, it's our favourite chord, the A major shape. So carrying on, if I take that A major shape and move it down, again, it's a lovely chord, but it's not D major. What do? Well, we +1 on the second string, which gives us a D chord. So E, A and D are all the same chord shape, just going through that +1 cycle. Next up, let's do a G chord. So we've got a G chord here. Okay, so if I move this down one string, my little finger's going to run out of strings, so that stops. These two are going to be here. Again, it's a lovely sound, but we've taken a major shape and moved it down. We would expect it's still going to be a basic major chord. It's not. Why not? Well, because we need to +1 to this string, and look what we get. A C chord. So if you take a G shape and move it down, you get a C. So if we take that C shape and we move it down, we get this. Nice, but still not the chord we're after. It's not just a standard F chord. Why not? Well, because we've got a +1 string. There we go. So hopefully this is making sense. Now, of course, the opposite is true if you're going up the guitar in terms of pitch, if you're moving a chord shape. So if we go back to D, if I want to move this shape up to get an A, I need to -1, which gives me that, and then move it up. There's an A. I need to -1, which gives me like an A minor shape, and then move it up. E. So hopefully this is making sense, guys, and hopefully you're starting to see that these chord shapes are all related. You'll notice I've gone through the cage system now. We've done C, we've done A, G, E and D, and they are all very, very similar shapes, just with that +1 string considered. So hopefully that was interesting for you. I personally find it really fascinating to see how the chords are all related, because very often we just take the chord shapes at face value and we say, okay, that's an A chord, that's an E chord, so on. It's nice to actually understand that there is a bit of logic going on behind the scenes, and although this probably won't change your life in terms of your playing, you might actually suddenly spot that you can take a shape you already use, move it up a string set, +1 to the B string, and you might find new chord shapes that you hadn't spotted before. Possibly a lot easier in terms of the voice leading than an alternative that you may be using. So if you did find this useful, please do click the like button. Please share with people who would like this video as well. And as always, I love to see my subscribers number going up. I'm headed towards the 500s now, which I know in the land of YouTube is pretty small numbers, but it's very, very rewarding for me. So if we can hit that 500, I would absolutely love that. I asked for 400 in a couple of videos ago, and we've absolutely smashed that by now. So please do smash that subscribe button and ask your mates to do it as well. I really, really appreciate it. And finally, just a little bit of, I suppose, a call to arms. Please do comment down below. First of all, I'm aware that often I ramble on and I'm not the most clear person in the world. Please do ask if there's anything you need clarifying. I actually find it easier to type things than I do to verbalize them. But secondly, if there's anything that you would like me to discuss in videos, or any ideas you've got for me, the more the merrier. I love having new concepts to talk about, and I'm really, really passionate about music theory, as you can tell. Even the most menial things are incredibly exciting to me, and hopefully they are to you as well. So I'm always more than happy to make a video for you. See you in the next one then. Cheers.